there, bottom left of your screen. Christian Imroth. Lifetime best to get the standard and the England under-20 title. Hussar of France, one of 3 men in this field, sub 9 minutes. Van der Velde, the athlete that Phil mentioned as having a PB well clear of others across these two heats. 8:33 at best, the 2016 European Under-18 champion. Barrios of Portugal, another to watch out for, 8:59 in Lisbon this year. Seven and a half laps of the track for these men. Top 5 going through automatically, and 5-time qualifiers. That great mural of Borås in the background. The city has a bit of tradition for street art, termed no limit street art, where on some occasions, as we see the green card, some occasions the artists aren't asked for sketches before they produce their work to give them the chance to offer true freedom of expression. Watch is about to be set. And now they're underway. So 3 men, sub 9 minutes. We have seen some rather pedestrian heats of these middle distance races thus far. It was 3 minutes and 1.71 for the opening kilometre in the first of these two heats. So we'll keep an eye on that clock. At the moment, 9:19.90. Good enough to qualify. That was the 10th place finisher, Belčić of Croatia, a few moments ago. So early leaders, as expected, include Van der Velde of Belgium. Garcia of Spain is there as well. Mokanovic of Bosnia.
Just to jump in, well, the pole vault has been concluded with that vault from Gatalina. Everybody else had just passed, and she had to come in at her designated height at 4:15. We'll give you the summary of that shortly. But if you want to catch up and get ahead of myself and Alex Seftel, you can always just look at the live results on www.european-athletics.org, which has got all the results, reports, interviews, a vast array of information there on the European Athletics website. And also, this is a good moment, as this particular heat unwinds, to say a thank you to European Athletics international partners, Eurovision and Le Gruyère.
Van der Velde, clear lead for the Belgian Hussar, and then the Portuguese Barrios. So 1, 2 and 3 based on rankings coming in, and indeed in this race. Edson Barrios just beginning to come through on the outside. Everyone's avoided any kind of chaos through the water jump.
Well,
good.
Van der Velde, as I speculated, is just turning this into a time trial for himself, just keeping out of trouble.
So it was 3 minutes 1.71 for the opening kilometre in the first race. 2:53 on the clock. The others coming through in a similar time to the first heat, incidentally, of course, because there is quite a big gap, which is different to that first heat.
Yes, I was spotting what the rest of the field were doing, and they were about a second and a half unofficially behind the first heat, which of course was bunched together up the front.
Emil Helander of Finland coming through into second place ahead of Etsen Barros. Well, Pedro Garcia in the steeplechase. Meanwhile, in the discus, this is Nicolas Garcia. That yellow line, 59 meters, 55.66 for the Spaniard. So fourth in this group, and then overall in ninth place. So that actually puts his teammate out of a spot in the final. 54.99 now needed to qualify, some 4 meters back from that auto standard. Helander of Finland in second, behind long-time leader Van der Velde. Barros in third, then Garcia. So extremely comfortable for the Belgian, and in fact they are closing on him, and he can afford to let that lead just shorten a little bit. Van der Velde, still as you were, looking comfortable out front. No need to spend too much energy. He's done a lot of the hard work thus far. He's going to come through with 3 laps to go now. The Georgian athlete, Kovicheva, emerging for the first time. 9 minutes and 5.24 this year. They have cut that lead right down, you know. Once they've had that target in front, closing all the time, and all of a sudden you've got 6 athletes as part of this lead group. Van der Velde of Belgium, Kovicheva of Georgia, Lokanovic of Bosnia as well. So 2 of the smaller nations well represented here. One of 4 Bosnians is Lokanovic. So is Tim van der Velde running well within himself in the final stages of this race. 6 minutes of 1 through 2 kilometers compared to 6 minutes and 9 through the opening. And behind this leading group, they're not too far back either. 8 athletes on the screen, a further 2, the Brit and the Israeli just appearing there. Possible they could all make it through, but suddenly the story of this race changing rather dramatically. Is Van der Velde just beginning to struggle a little bit? Has he misjudged this?
I'm very curious about his tactics here. It does look as though it's suddenly run a little bit out of steam. Maybe a little bit of stitch, which would be unusual at 3,000 meters, but this race about 8 seconds quicker than the first heat that we saw.
Still the Georgian, Kovicheva, out front. Garcia of Spain right behind him. They're going to come through with 1 lap to go now. Van der Elst is back in 5th place, and certainly now down on his best after having quite a comfortable lead. Christian Imroth has moved up into 6th place, athlete that pushed himself at the British Trials in order to get the standard, now looking to make it into the final. I spoke to him after that race, and both he and his parents absolutely chuffed to bits as well. 17 years old, first year as an under-20, but a number of athletes making a name for themselves in this field. Just extraordinary from Van der Velde, and he's just hoping to cling on to a spot in that final. Should be absolutely fine given the pace that he pushed this race to early on, and now begins to come to the front. So technique not looking as clean as it was early in the race, but everything's going to be okay, it looks like, for Van der Velde. The Belgian out front once again. Curious, extraordinary. Barros of Portugal chasing him down. Cross the line almost together. The Georgian, Kaviceva, Garcia, Imroth, and you can be pretty sure that all these guys will qualify. We'll confirm that in a minute.